Today's topic is going to be on relationships. And we have Sasha, we have Raja, we have Latanya. So I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves, and then we're going to start the conversation. So we're going to start with Sasha. Can you introduce yourself? And then we're going to go to Raja and then Latanya.
So I'm Sasha.
I'm Raja.
What do you do? Like, say, I'm Sasha, I do this, I do that, or, I'm invested in this, I'm invested in that, and what your brand is, and this is being recorded. It can be edited, so it's not live.
I'm Sasha. I haven't put my foot in whatever it is that's next for me. So I don't have too much of a story right now.
Okay. And go ahead.
But I'm Sasha. She here. We're here.
I'm Raja. I work from home for health insurance. I am Forex and Bitcoin and things like that so that I can become a millionaire. Period.
Excellent. And Latanya?
Hello, I apologize that I don't have a profile picture the next time. This was a spontaneous invite, so I definitely was not prepared, but I'm a social worker, graduate level. Been in the field for over 15 years. Just joining the chat to see what I could bring to the conversation regarding relationships, personal, romantic, professional, and whatnot.
Excellent. So I want to start off the conversation with, this is going to be a short conversation. It's not going to be a long conversation. I want to hear the standpoint of people from my kids' generation. A lot of people like, you don't have kids. Yes, I have kids. So Sasha's my daughter, just like Raja's my daughter. So I want to hear the standpoint from our kids' point of view, and then from a motherly point of view with me and Latanya. So to start off with relationships, I want to talk about what are boundaries when it comes to dating in your life. So positive boundaries and negative boundaries. And I'm going to just start with the chat, which is Sasha's next to me. So that's where we're going to start. So what are your positive boundaries and your negative boundaries when it comes to dating in 2022? And then we're going to go to Raja, and then we're going to go to Latanya.
I don't have much of a date life.
That turn you off immediately.
Let's start with Raja.
Okay. Okay, so positive boundaries. I like when I have my space in my relationships. I don't like to feel smothered or overwhelmed. Even in the aspect when we're talking about like conversation, I like where I can speak and get all of my words and my thoughts out, and you let me speak before you respond. I like that too. That's good positive boundaries. Negative boundaries. What did you mean by negative? Like
things that turn you off immediately. You say, I'm not going to date this guy, or, date
red flags.
Yeah, red flags.
Red flags. We're not speaking on a physical level.
We can do spiritual, emotional,
or intellectual.
All of it. So just be detailed in your answer.
Okay. So negative boundaries, someone who isn't spiritual. You don't have to be religious per se, but spiritual.
Right.
Let's say someone who is a parent but doesn't take care of their children. That's a red flag.
Most definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely a red flag. Someone who is too clingy. I don't like clinginess. Blowing my phone up every 5 minutes. I don't like that. Calling me while you're with your friends trying to show off. I don't like that. And someone who doesn't stimulate my mind. I like to have conversations that like are long conversations about any and everything. So if you can't keep up with me during the conversation, red flag, red flag.
Good answer. Good answer. I like that. What about you, Latanya? We're gonna let Sasha brew on her answer. So, Latanya, what are like green flags and red flags when it comes to relationship dating with you?
I wasn't prepared for this question. I will say this much. When you think about boundaries, the most important aspect is to be aware of yourself, things that may trigger you or things that, trigger you in a negative way, trigger you in a positive way. In order to really understand the type of people you may gravitate towards, would definitely start with knowing yourself and knowing your interests and dislikes, and then working from there. Once you are able to identify that, then you're more likely to attract or gravitate towards people who share similar interests, whether they are spiritually, whether they're professionally, or just even activities that you like to engage in. So I would say that.
So alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And what are your red flags when it comes to dating?
Anything that does not align with those aspects that I identify with.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any examples? Like it could be somebody that, eats red meat, or, is in gang culture, or wears tight pants, or listens to rap music.
Well, I will say this much: at the point of my life now and my age, I would never entertain somebody who did not have some legal source of employment or income. So I would use that as a negative.
As a red flag.
As a red flag, something that I would not to engage or, interact with on a romantic level. Not to say that I will keep that person away as a friend. I just wouldn't explore anything romantically.
Okay. And what about you, Sasha? It's your turn.
I don't know if I could say much more than what these ladies have already shared. Bouncing off of what Latanya said, you find people that are attract to you based on things that you give off, energy that you give off. Fortunately, there are people that can read whether it's right for them and see those red flags, whatever they may be, down to hygiene, because that's a thing. That's a thing. And it going as deep as what you can share with a person that you feel like you make a connection with, which nowadays people make connections with everybody every kind of way.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So nowadays, things are so platonic and casual, and
I don't like that. Yeah, I want it to be more.
I don't know how that's that at the same time, but people do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the different energy that you get from people can affect where you put them in that, or what stature you put them at, or what bar you set them at as far as a relationship in your life. Dating is not an easy thing. It wasn't an easy thing back then, but it damn sure ain't easy now.
You're right. And so I'm going to give my answer lastly. That's why I like hosting the chat, is because I can go last. But my green flags are financial literacy, somebody that can teach me things, somebody that has divine masculine energy, somebody that's patient. My red flags would be somebody that has the vaccine, somebody that's going to get their booster. get the fuck out my face. Uh, somebody that is not financially literate, somebody that doesn't have knowledge of self, somebody that doesn't read. So those are my red flags. So my next question would be, with the dating scene, what kind of men are approaching you ladies? And because Sasha seems a little bit shy, we're gonna go with Raja first, and then Latanya, and then Sasha. So what kind of men are approaching you, Raja?
I attract drug dealers, baby fathers.
You said what?
I attract almost everyone. I don't know if that's because I'm a Gemini. You know, we're very radiant beings. You know, we attract everyone. We can adapt to everyone's personality. So, you know, it's a blessing and a curse to be a Gemini, especially when it comes to dating. Everyone feels like you can relate to them, you can understand them. So everyone gets comfortable with me. So I literally attract everyone, Mom. I can't help it. So
well, the first thing you said was drug dealers. Why was that the first thing that came across your mind?
This is true. I attract good guys too. Well, the good guys, they always look funny. So I don't know.
You know what? When it comes to drug dealers, let's not act like all of them are bad, because I've dated drug dealers in my past, and most of them are entrepreneurs. So they have a mindset of, I don't want to work for somebody else from 9 to 5. I want to get money on my own time and do my own thing. So we're not going to act like that's a bad thing. If they're operating on a nickel and dime type of time, then that's a different story.
I definitely don't attract those drug dealers. Not the nickel and dimers.
Right. We don't want the guys that's standing on the corner. But
I'm not trying to make it like seem negative. It's just there's a lot that comes with that lifestyle. And I was just listing off the kind of people that I attract, but them for sure.
Okay. And what about you, Latanya?
I would say I attract a little bit of everything at this point. Always have. But to say, I would say just based on how I have always conducted myself, I have been told that I'm intimidating. So that would, I guess, make sure whatever men that are trying to pursue me are at their top of their game. So, yeah, I couldn't say that just one type, but.
Really, oh, Raja said, why do you think they call you intimidating?
I've been told because I have my stuff together. So
how does that intimidate men?
I would think if a man was not financially stable, I don't even want to say educationally, because education doesn't necessarily, confident man doesn't shy away from a confident or a successful female. When you have a man who's insecure, that will, or because they have certain things that are not up to par, and typically whether it be the money, usually is financially, because when you look at what men usually think of when it comes to what they are supposed to bring to a relationship, is more of a protector, provider. And if their money's not right, what are they going to be providing?
Not a damn thing.
That makes sense.
struggle. Well, I know Sasha has a good man. Well, I'm sorry. I can edit that out. I don't want to say good man. Look at her face.
Okay.
I love Kyle. He's a provider, Sasha, right?
That's cool. Yeah, he's providing right now.
Okay, so it's your turn. What kind of men do you attract, Sasha?
What day of the week is it?
You said what, honey?
What day of the week is it?
I think Friday.
It really depends on how social I want to be, you know? Gas station, grocery store, department store, sidewalk.
Well,
Not like you'll find me on the sidewalk, but if I was to ever, it doesn't really take, it doesn't really take much. Guys who approach me, some just have balls and know they shouldn't be, but they're just, I guess, social media has taught you that you need to shoot your shot. So, but yeah, it's usually people that have the goal to actually step up to me, because I've been told that I'm also intimidating, so I can resonate with what Latanya said, but it might not be because everything's all put together, and I may put that off because I'm not trying to look out and about like I don't have it together. But even when you don't, you gotta look like it. So yeah.
I can say you're intimidating because you speak the truth. And a lot of women are submissive, and they compress their feelings. They compress what they have to say, but you actually say it. And I do too. So I can get that with how it's intimidating to men, because you say what's on your mind. And a lot of women just, they stay quiet, they stay shut. And so I know that about you, is that you're going to say what's on your mind. So that could be quite intimidating to men also. So my last question, because I told you I don't want this conversation to last too long. My last question would be, what is your ideal mate? So we're going to start with Raja, and then go to Latanya, and then back to Sasha, and follow up with myself.
My ideal mate will stimulate my mind, body, and soul. He will understand me very, very well. He is emotionally supportive, considerate, compassionate, intellectual, spiritual, and kind. That's the gist of it.
That's excellent. What about you, Latanya? Your ideal mate?
Well, at this point in life, with age comes wisdom. And the reality is that you're never going to find a mirror of yourself. So my biggest thing is to seek peace.
That's a good
within my relationship, and someone who respects the boundaries of my own personal happiness with our combined happiness. But at this point, there's no time for drama.
No, exactly. I agree.
Thinking that's gonna cause my anxiety to be stressed, sad, or life definitely brings its challenges, and you can't have control of everything in your life. You just control how you respond, how you react, and what you allow to entertain you. So if whoever I'm with, as long as they respect that and we can continue to move in alignment, building evolving, because life is always about change and evolution.
Mhm.
And then know that you're supposed to be better every day than the person that you were before. And know that your happiness is not determined from your partner, but from within yourself. And if you could have that blissful relationship with your partner, that's amazing. So that's what I look for. That's what I seek for. That's what if I had my perfect relationship, I guess, as your question was, would be my answer.
While you were talking, I just thought about another question that I have. So we're not going to get off the call after Sasha. I have one other question after that. But go ahead, Sasha. What is your ideal mate?
See, I had an answer, and then it changed when I heard Raja, because I thought of more things. And then it changed again when I heard Latanya, because I heard more things. And I don't think I've ever tried to manifest whatever I feel like my ideal partner will be. At this point, I'm trying to figure out more of me. I don't need to try to figure out what's going on with me and somebody else. But usually that's when somebody comes to try to knock you off your block and see if you can handle doing both, because it's not impossible. But you got to be willing, and so do they. And things have to fit. They have to fit in order to be like with me, fit into how I live and what my life is like and what I am like emotionally and spiritually and intellectually. And they have to keep up in ways where I can teach them and they can teach me, but we're still always somewhere on the same page. I don't need you in another chapter.
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is you're focusing on yourself and your knowledge of self. You're studying yourself right now. So you don't have like a quote unquote ideal partner because you're still figuring out who you are as a woman yourself.
Correct.
I appreciate your honesty. Honestly, I really do appreciate your honesty. It takes courage to say that when everybody's saying something different, and I appreciate that. For me to answer the question, my ideal mate would be is a great teacher that has good information that can show me how to get to a bag when I don't have a bag. Rich and unemployed, financially stable, a protector, a provider, a leader. That's what I look forward. That's my ideal mate. So my last question would be, and this is really my last question. How do you differentiate a business relationship from a personal relationship? Because it's very hard for some men to differentiate a business relationship from a personal relationship. So we're going to start with Raja, go to Latanya, Sasha, and then me.
I'm assuming a business relationship is transactional. Mm-hmm. Personal is more emotional. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever had like a significant business relationship that I could even refer to. So I'm not too sure. That's the only answer I have right now.
So I'm going to ask you to repeat that again.
A business relationship is transactional, and a personal relationship is emotional.
I agree. I agree totally. What about you, Latanya?
I would agree with what Roger said. And to add that with the personal being emotional, you also have to add in vulnerability, because you have to be vulnerable to allow the opportunity to explore the plethora of emotions that come within a personal relationship, where business is really is transactional. So you're going to be just focused on the output of whatever that transaction is.
You're right.
That's my take.
Right. And what about you, Sasha? How do you differentiate a business relationship from a personal relationship when it comes to men?
That's one of those negative boundaries.
Okay, so when a man treats you like a business transaction, that's a negative bound. That's a red flag for you.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, that's not okay. You're not doing that. But that might be cool for somebody who's not here.
Exactly.
In this chat.
Mm-hmm.
My take on that is that when you have a person to sleep over, so we can talk about the uniform commercial codes, the tax codes, this money, because Sasha doesn't have kids, Raja doesn't have kids, and Latanya just has an adult, so she doesn't have any minors. So we need to know how to utilize the tax code in order to make money in your business, which is this. This is your articles of organization, Alluring Beauty Solutions, LLC. It's not a joke. It's not just a social media handle. This is the entity. And this is, it's considered your child when it comes to the tax codes. So as long as you have one of these, you have a kid. And you're entitled to some money. That's facts. So we need to have the sober sleepover so we can talk about getting this money and securing our bags. We need to talk about our trust funds, setting up our trustees, our guarantees, our guarantors. We need to talk about all of that because it's important. Generational wealth is important. Financial literacy is important. So you don't need kids to get a tax return. You need one of these, which is a business. And it takes $150 to set up your LLC. That's it. So let's get this money, ladies. And I'm very happy about this conversation. I'm proud of your answers, actually. That's why I invited women that I actually love. And I want to say my kids. I love y'all. And thank you so much for joining the conversation. I appreciate you. I love you. And
We love you too, Mom.
Me too.
Did anybody have anything else that they wanted to add on the back end? And I do appreciate constructive criticism, or anything that you wanted to comment. We can start with Raja, go to Latanya, go to Sasha, go back to me.
This experience was fun. I feel like maybe we should do this again, but with more topics, specific things you want us to talk about that we can give you, like, real answers.
Mm-hmm. So you want to do it again and you want to expand on the content. So this content was just relationships. We can talk about anything on the planet because I love to read. So
it can be relationships focused, but just specific topics, things like that. But it could be on anything. But it was a good test run. It was a good trial.
I like trying new things, so I'm glad that you liked it. And what about you, Latanya?
I would say, the spontaneous is great, but for this platform, just to kind of give a little more notice and possibly send some of the questions so that we could have
Be prepared.
More articulate answer.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And what about you, Sasha?
That both of their answers. Both their answers. Mm-hmm.
I know you have your own opinion, so I don't know why you keep doing that, like pushing it on them, because you have your own opinion.
No, really, that's really the only thing that I could think of, other than us doing a test run of um, technical, preparation. Other than us being prepared, I mean, if we're all going to participate, we all have to be prepared. So,
Well,
Yeah,
that's
but in the prepare,
what you said.
Ma, and with the thing that you prepare us with, though, I don't want the exact questions that you're gonna ask us like during the chat, because I like how we can give you a raw answer when we really don't expect the question to be asked. So
Right.
maybe if you just give us something like a general itinerary of what it's supposed to be about or something like that, then that'll be cool.
Okay, well, you know what? It was spontaneous. I said to myself today, I want to have this conversation because a lot of people think that opinions are one-sided. So I wanted to see things from me and Latanya's age group compared to you and Sasha's age group, because you guys are younger than us and a generation behind, and what you're dealing with when it comes to the dating scene and relationships. And I wanted other people to hear this conversation because they think, well, when I get older, it's going to get better. Or when I get older, these men are going to be doing the right thing. And that's not the case.